Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Well, I guess it was a nice night overall. It was a good night overall. We didn't come away with the win, but it was a good night overall. I'll say that. Would have loved to have the win tonight. The Knicks lost to the Golden State Warriors on the night when Julius Randle was named to the All-Star team for the first time in his career. And we had fans at the Garden. But the Knicks, with a terrible third quarter, wasn't able to bring it back and take the lead in the fourth quarter. They did tie it up, but they weren't able to take the lead in the fourth quarter. And they lost and blew their chance to go 500 to the Golden State Warriors. And the Knicks are having trouble getting over the hump to get to 500. And maybe, just maybe, this is the process they got to go to and we go through. And when we finally get to 500, it's going to be sweet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is just what we got to go through. I don't know. But the Knicks lost to the Golden State Warriors tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Warriors were led by Steph Curry with 37 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. You know, kind of a normal night, regular night for Steph Curry. He was 7 for 14 from the three-point line, 9 for 22 from the field. The Knicks played decent defense, but it's hard to say you played decent defense on Steph Curry when he dropped 37 points. Kelly Oubre had 19 points and 8 rebounds. Andrew Wiggins had 16 points and 5 rebounds. James Wiseman had 14 points. Eric Pascal, he had 8 points. Then Draymond Green, he had 7 points and 12 assists. And the Knicks tried to run a scheme to not allow Draymond Green to facilitate, but it didn't help. He still had 12 assists. Tough night. Tough second half. I'll say that. Because the Knicks actually had the lead in the first half. Tough second half. And it goes to a trend. It goes to a trend every single time the Knicks lose. Not every time, but most times when the Knicks lose, they've had a lead in the first half and played well, but couldn't hold on in the second half. The third quarter killed us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks were, of course, led by Julius Randle, newly minted All-Star Julius Randle. He had 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. But you know what? This is what you come to expect from Julius Randle now. He didn't really shoot that well from the field. He shot 38% from the field. He was 3 for 6 from the three-point line. Elfrid Payton had 20 points, 4 assists. Derrick Rose had 16 points and 8 assists. Taj Gibson had 8 points and 11 rebounds. Nerlens Noel, he had 8 points and 5 rebounds. RJ Barrett had 4 points. Didn't play well offensively, but he did grab 10 rebounds. Got to give him that at least. But we got to figure out something to do. We need another guy. We need another guy. You already know the story. You know what it is. We need a guy. Tough night. The Knicks had a lot of mistakes coming down the stretch. The Knicks had a lot of mistakes coming down the stretch of this game, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they ended up the night with 13 turnovers, but, you know, they just made some mental mistakes, especially in that third quarter. Anyway, the Knicks lose to the Golden State Warriors. What are we going to do? Got to get ready for Thursday against the Sacramento Kings. Congratulations to Julius Randle. And hopefully, Thursday, we can get a win on Thursday and then focus on Indiana. But we got to get a win on Thursday first, man. Let's talk about this game, ladies and gentlemen. Steph, how you feel?
Let him have it.
I mean, listen, I want to be consistent, you know, just like Prince is consistent with Knox and Levine. I want to be consistent. I always say we need a talent upgrade, right? I've been consistent with that. And it's games like this where you really see after Randle, it's by committee. You know, we hoping maybe it's Rose, maybe it's Quickly, maybe it's RJ. We just don't have a consistent second guy right now. And asking RJ and Quickly to be that at this point in their career, it's just not happening. In terms of my observations for the game, RJ tonight was just a hot mess. Now, there were times during this season when he would miss shots. And so, you hit, you miss. That was fine. The rest of his game was well, and he just missed shots. Today, he just looked discombobulated. His defense was off. The shots he was taking was off. He was forcing it. He just really looked out of his element. And if there was any game for Tibbs to sit him in the fourth quarter, this was the game. He was just, I don't really know what was going on with him. Shout out to Alfred Payton, man. If he could play like this, he's not a good shooter, but his aggressiveness, him getting into the lane, his strength, the points in the paint was really good for us. Quickly, these guys, you just can't count on them. So the last thing I want to say, just overall, a lot of people are saying to stay put. We need to keep our assets and whatever. Two things I will say, and I've said this before, we hired Tibbs. That lets you know we're not waiting for RJ Barrett and quickly to come into their own to add around them. Like, that's going to take too long. But the second thing is, I'm not sure the coaching staff thought Randle would pop the way he did, the way he has. And I think that accelerates us a little bit. So now we're kind of working around his window, not necessarily RJ's window quickly. We're working around Randle's window. He's 26, and we need to get some people around him that's also in that same window. And listen, the young guys, they can still be on the team, third, fourth, fifth, sixth options or whatever, but we need to put somebody around this guy. And I think the front office is going to do that. Yeah. That's what I have.
Okay. So do you think we're going to lose some of these young players? Is that what you're saying?
We got 5 of them. Yeah. I think as long as they don't do anything reckless, right? As long as what we give up in terms of assets is on par with the player or players we're receiving back, I don't have a problem with that. And I trust this front office. They're not going to do anything reckless. They're not going to give up 6 first-round picks for Oladipo, right? Like, they're just not going to do that. So I trust them. But we got, if they don't do it this year to be in the off season, we got to put somebody around Randle.
Right.
Yeah. And shout out to Ghost Rider. He asked, he says, salute him. In your opinion, is RJ regressing or is he just inconsistent? In my opinion, he's inconsistent. I don't think he's regressing. I think he's inconsistent. He just had 26 the previous game, right? And we won. Yeah. I think he's just inconsistent. He's got to show up some things on the defensive side of the ball, though. He's supposed to be, he's a decent defender, but, he gets beat too many times on backdoor screens and guys cutting to the basket. A lot of that is due to positioning and some other defensive mechanics that he can use out there. But I think he's just inconsistent. That's all. Devon?
Yeah. What up to the family, man? What up to the chat, to the panel? Not disappointed, but I would love to pull it out tonight. Like I said, a triple factor would have been nice tonight. Yeah. But you gotta, like I said, you gotta hold people accountable just like what Tibbs do. But tonight, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and Reggie Bullock did not even come to the game tonight. Basically,
that's true.
They didn't come to the game. And that's just accountability. Hey, if we praise them, we gotta also, if they do good, we reward them. If they do bad, we gotta call them out too. And I just think them 3 guys tonight did not bring anything to the table, bro. That third quarter defense was crazy. But one thing I can't take out of tonight, though, man, I like the resiliency. I like the resilience that the Knicks are playing with right now. Right. They got down a little amount. They fought their way back just like the other game. So I do like that aspect of the team and that they resilient though. And they try to fight to the end. And that's all you can ask for with a roster like that. But I agree with Stephanie 100%. We just got to get some more talent there. Because a starting 3 like Reggie Bullock can't give us that. I don't care how good the defense is. You got to score something. I don't care how good the defense is. You could be top notch like Frank. If that's the case, you ain't nothing but a Frank. So you can't call out Frank if you don't call out Reggie Bullock. They both play good defense. That man did not give us nothing tonight. He just didn't give us nothing. So I'm holding him Quickly and RJ. That's on them tonight, man. Basically,
at least Frank has a handle. Shoot.
Bullock's good. Just tonight. I'm just talking about tonight. I ain't getting on Bullock any other game. I'm not getting on none of these players any other day of the week. I'm just talking about tonight.
Come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. What's he handling? What's he handling? What's he handling? He ain't handling nothing right now. He's handling, yeah. He's handling towels. He's handling water bottles. That's about it, right? Clipboards, whistles, all of that. Julius is like, yo, Frank,
forget you. Josh, forget you. Forget both of y'all.
Look,
He doing his water boy thing.
yeah, Randle.
Now, City, for real. Now, I know your boy's going off, man. You ain't got to come off like that. I haven't seen you in a minute, and you trying to snap and everything.
Yeah, listen, Randall's like, hey, Frank, go handle that exercise bike for me. Bring it over here so I can stay warmed up for when I'm ready to get back in the game. That's all he's doing.
You are.
And I seen him whisper to him. He said, just don't pull a groin while you're getting it. Bring it over here. That's what he told him. Go ahead, Tony.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Your blackest time.
Tony's still my friend.
This was a disappointing loss still to me, even though I'm still excited for Randle making the All-Star team. And yeah, man, we got to get over this hump. We got to get over this hump. Every time we right there, we blowing the game. And I agree, we fought back, but this wasn't. The Warriors didn't beat us. We beat ourselves this game, and we can't do that. I'm sick and tired of these fouls that stop a fast break when it's not a fast break. A 3-on-2, our advantage, and you stopping and you fouling somebody. That's putting us in the penalty early every game, at least one of the quarters. So they got to stop that, and Tibbs needs to yell at them about it. Like, I know they get yelled at for giving up a layup, you know what I mean, or giving up a fast break. But to me, that's worse. Because it hurts you down the line, and it can hurt you for minutes at a time, depending on how early you're in the penalty. But other than that, man, I still got confidence that we're gonna we're gonna bounce back and we're gonna make the playoffs. But we do need an upgrade somewhere at some scoring. Yeah. Somebody consistent, just somebody who can shoot the ball and hit it at a high clip.
Right. Someone that you just know is going to give you that 20 points every night. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're getting it because even if they're shooting a low percentage, they're going to give it to you that night because they're getting fouled from the 3-point. Right. They're getting fouled going to the free throw line. Whatever it is, someone that you know is going to be that consistent threat and can actually get the ball, because when it comes down to it, at some point you need someone that can just create for themselves. As much as we like to get assists and move the ball and stuff like that, there comes points in the game when you need someone who can just create it. And Julius can't be the only one all the time because they double and triple team him. So he ends up having to get the ball out of his hand. You need one other person that can get that ball in that pinch post or something and really go and make a move. RJ is definitely not doing that right now. RJ gets all of his stuff off of, there's not much one-on-one creation. Even when RJ is scoring, not much one-on-one creation. It's, he gets an open shot or he gets the handoff and he's able to drive down the left side, for a layup or something like that. And he gets a little mid-range here or there. We'll see. I think that, though, we talk about this team's resilience. And I feel like this is going to be another example of their resilience. They try to get to 500, they get knocked back down. They try to get to 500, they get knocked back down. And finally, when they get to 500, I think that's going to be another testament to their resilience and their mental toughness, because they're going to have to stay mentally tough and sharp to stay within that range until they can get to 500 and then get over 500. And I do believe they're going to do it. And when they do it, or when they do accomplish that goal, that feat, it's going to be another testament to their mental toughness, and I think it's going to prove something to themselves as well. That we can stick in it, and then we can get it done. So, while I am definitely disappointed, I do think they'll be able to use this as their process. Now they've had a goal all along, but they have a little short-term goal to get to. Because sometimes when you just have a long-term goal, making that playoffs, it's a long ways away. You need some short-term things to tackle along the way to keep you motivated, to keep you looking forward. And I think this could be one of them. Right? Let's get to 500. So now they got this short-term goal that they can tackle. You know what? Julius Randle going to the All-Star game, that could be one feat that they accomplished. Now, let's get to 500. Here's another feat that we can accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And I think these small goals really help you as you're moving forward, and it helps you build confidence, build trust in one another. It helps you learn how to go to battle with one another. You know what I'm saying? Because you're fighting for something, and it keeps you attentive and it keeps you in it. So this could end up being a good thing for this team, in my opinion, that they're fighting to get to 500. They get knocked down and have to get back up. Prince.
Hey, real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Tony.
Just to add on that, you set those little goals and then throw one on top of it. So after 500, obviously get above it. You know what I mean? Get maybe 2 games above it. Set the goals and keep setting them until you reach that ultimate goal, whatever that was, playoffs. But I wanted to say, shout out to Elfrid Payton and Derrick Rose. I think Derrick Rose is gonna keep that fire lit where Payton knows he has to perform. He's been performing a lot more consistently. Just before Rose got there, maybe he knew he was coming. But since he's been there, Payton's been consistent, and it's almost been like, sometimes I hear fans calling for him to get back in the game sometimes. Yeah. And Rose is running the offense well. He's just not hitting his shots consistently. That's all I want to add.
Right. Prince, go ahead, Prince.
Man, shout out to chat. Always great to be up here with this gangster party up here. Hey, make sure if y'all at work, you're at home listening to the Podfather, man. The collection plate is being passed around. Pound that like button, subscribe. That's the least you could do. Make sure you wash your hands too.
Pennies.
But all seriousness, Sim, like I always say, you can't take the game away from Golden State. Like Tone was saying in the green room, it wasn't even like we got blasted outside of Steph Curry's points. But like we always say, Sim, if we keep opposing guards under 20, we got a chance to win. And Steph Curry put up 37, so that definitely blew our little defensive saying out the water. So with that, obviously, like Queen Steph said, we are truly lacking a closer. And like I said, I can scream it all day long. When you had said earlier, that you was looking for a guy, in my Italian voice, I think I know a guy. You know what I'm saying? So to definitely help, because I do believe that I think Leon Rose is probably going to get either nudged or he's going to get the okay from Dolan, where I think, like I said, I think we're going to see that trade. I don't think it's going to be the Beal trade, but I think we will see some type of trade, because I think they see the success that we have. And again, we are truly a 20-point scorer, a true 20-point scorer, away from being a true, contingent in the East. I ain't gonna say a contender, but a contingent. We can be, definitely be in the 4th or 5th seed with a decent player. And like the Queen, she put it on the floor early too. I wouldn't mind an Oladipo right now for the cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't front, on the cheap. On the cheap, I would love to get an Oladipo, honestly, but my golden ticket, the golden goose, is Levine. As y'all see, that dude is carrying Chicago. I said they was gonna lose every game, and he said, "B, I'm gonna show you." So, thanks, Sim. Thanks a lot, Sim. Thanks. That's all your fault.
Yeah.
They may not trade him now.
Right, exactly. Well. That's what I'm saying, Sim. Thanks, Sim. Thanks, Sim.
The only thing that I've heard about with Chicago is that as they get closer to the deadline, they're still not sure where they're going and what they're going to do, and they are going to have a meeting. Maybe in another week or so, to talk about.
Sim, don't get me hype. Don't get me hype.
Well, they're going to have a meeting in another week or so to talk about, the direction that they want to go, what they're looking to try to do. So I guess we would find out more from that meeting. My inclination is that they're going to try to build around Zach LaVine. That's what I think. But they're going to have that meeting to talk about, is that something that they want to do? So I guess we'll see from there. You know what I'm saying? We'll see from there.
Trade marketing, trade Zach.
Yeah.
Get them picks, man.
Yeah. Hey, City, what's going on, man?
What's going on, son?
In the chat tonight. Special guest.
Yeah. Go ahead, City, man. Talk to us, man.
Hey, man, it was a tough loss, but you know what? It is what it is. It come with the best of them, man. Like, our bench came through tonight. They did better than what they did the last couple of nights. I would say at least the last couple of games. Like, our bench came through tonight. They held stuff down. Like, you know what I'm saying? They put us back in position to come back and take the lead and whatever you want to call it. But, shout out to my guy at Alpha Wall Street. I'm going to say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That guy's been playing really good, and people been disrespecting him, man, talking about, trade this guy, do this, do that. This guy's blown out really good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's been playing really, really good. Like, you know what I mean? And this is part of the reason why I feel like sometimes a lot of people don't want to come here, man, because, like, as soon as you have 2 or 3 bad games, everybody like, let's trade this, let's trade that, let's do this, let's do that. Like, nah, bro, we gotta stand firm and support the people that we have, even sometimes if they doing bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times, even when you doing bad, your fam support you. Like, you know what I mean? Your circle support you when they say, hey, man, you could do whatever it is that you need to do to get out of that funk that you in. But, like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, this could be a thing, but, like, you know what I'm saying? The game, I thought the game was good though, Sim. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a good game. It was entertaining. The only thing that I don't like is like when we talk about just being competitive, because I feel like that's enticing to people to feel like that we need to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're competitive and you're in games, then you start talking about, if we would have did this, we would have did that, then we probably would have won the game. Or if we would have put this person in, put that person in, then we would win the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want us to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it, you got to be competitive to win, but I don't want to be competitive and lose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just a teaser. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just opens the door for all of the trade talks, everything else or whatever. But all in all, man, I'm with it. I'm ready for our boys to fly high, do whatever it is that they need to do. Sim, check it. I just got this in the mail today.
No doubt. No doubt. Appreciate that, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I even took it to the extra step. I got the city for real on the back just because you already know that's what I do.
That's what's up. You know what I mean? All right.
But otherwise, like, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, though, we need to get this next W, man. We
need that about that. You know that about that. Hey, Josh, man. What's up, man? You already know what the people's waiting for, Josh. You might as well go ahead and give it to them.
Throw the fire. Throw the gasoline.
So, I mean, listen, it's obvious RJ Barrett didn't have a good game, but I just want to, there's 3 things that I want to point out. First and foremost, the Knicks are 4-11 when RJ Barrett scores below average. Conversely, they're 12-5 when he scores above average, right? So this team needs RJ Barrett to step up and be that scorer, but he's not that. We obviously know he's not that. So going along with what Steph was saying and what I've been saying, we need that other guy outside of Julius Randle to come close these games out. Because guess what? The Knicks are not going to go bucket for bucket with teams. Whenever there's games out there where the Knicks are, their defense is not playing up to the level we know they can play at, and they're kind of trading bucket for bucket, ultimately that's not going to work out. And the Knicks are going to lose that game almost every single time. And I point back to the game where they played Orlando, where I was getting all the heat saying, I don't blame the rotations for that game. The reason why I said the Knicks weren't going to win that game anyway is because they were doing that bucket for bucket thing with Orlando in the first half. They were trading, but they weren't getting any stops on defense. We were trying to figure out, why Taves didn't have those guys in the game. To me, that's not the type of game the Knicks want to play. Their key, the Knicks, the name of the Knicks game is defense. When they're not playing defense, 9 times out of 10, the Knicks are not going to win that ball game. Okay, so again, outside of Julius Randle, there's nobody else. It's by committee, like Steph was saying, and I think we need to pull the trigger and go out and get someone and go out and get a closer. We have the assets. Let's use them. I'm not saying trade away the farm. I'm not saying trade RJ. I'm not saying any of that. But we need to go out and get someone on the wing who can supplement Randle and give us some more scoring. And last thing I want to say is Elfrid Payton is playing like the point guard that we want. Why are people criticizing Elfrid Payton? He's playing just the way we want a point guard to play.
Sexy.
He's playing right. He's playing aggressive. He's getting to the paint. You know what I mean? He's playing solid defense. He's playing like the point guard we want. So we need to support Elfrid Payton. Stop trying to go out and get other point guards. The biggest thing that this team needs right now is a wing/2 guard guy that can go out and get you a bucket. And they don't have that. And that's why we're the way we are right now. We're going to make the playoffs, but come playoff time, when it comes down to those battles late in the game, we're not going to win those games because we have nobody else outside of Randle.
Yeah, and listen, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks missed their chance tonight. The Celtics lost to the Dallas Mavericks. They're now 15-16. If the Knicks would have won tonight, they would have been 16-16, and they would have moved up into that 6th spot over the Boston Celtics. And look, this is going to be a tight race all the way down to the end. Each game is going to come down to, when the season gets closer and closer to ending and we get closer and closer to playoffs, these games are going to come down to, they're going to be tight. And we're going to need some people that can get it done. And I can tell you what, the fact that Julius Randle made the All-Star game, in my opinion, puts a little bit more pressure on the front office to do something. Because now it's like we have an all-star. He's 26 years old. Yeah. He has a little while to, before he reaches his peak, and then he's got a little bit of while during his peak, but we don't want to waste it.
Right.
I think it puts a little bit more pressure on them to say, we got to make this work. Because one, we don't want that all-star game. One, he makes the All-Star game now, and then the Knicks falter down the stretch, right? Next year, if the Knicks are in the same situation, he's putting up the same type of numbers, it's going to make it tougher for him to make the All-Star game because they're going to remember what the Knicks did down the stretch, right? And then 2, it's like, listen, we got a guy that can play at this level. We need somebody else to go with him that can play at this level. I think it puts a little bit more pressure on the front office to say, we got to make something happen. You know what I mean? Which is good pressure. It's good pressure to have. But I think it puts it on his front office. And, I think you will see something because they've got to know that they don't have enough.
Right?
They don't have enough to close out these type of games. If they did, they'd be a little bit, they'd be 18-14 or 19-13 or something like that.
Right.
With the right guy, this team could easily be 19-13 or somewhere around there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll see
they
where they go.
Well enough defense, Sam. Their defense. All they need to do is score more points.
Yeah, I mean, they are there. They just got to be able to get over that hump. Again, I do think that this is going to be a very good learning process for the team. And this is what young teams that are trying to build something, this is what they go through, right? They go through these battles and they stick it out together. And as you climb, what makes a team good, part of what makes a team good, and of course, I'm not saying you don't add pieces, but part of what makes a team good is the climb to get there, the process to get there, fighting to get to 500. 1 season, 2 seasons, you're fighting to be at 500, and then finally you're above 500, and you're going to be above 500. Now you're trying to move up in the rankings within your conference, and then finally you're trying to be the best team in your conference, and you have all these goals that you're fighting and battling to get to. And it builds trust amongst the teammates, the coaches, and the players, all of those type of things. So we're at the beginning of that. We're at the start of that. And we're young enough where we have young players and we have the ability to make moves to bring other players in. We're disappointed at the loss, but we're in a good situation. And as long as these Knicks can keep on fighting, I think they will get to 500 and hopefully eventually get over 500. But there's a move out there to be had. And, right now we're about a month away. I think I do agree. Something's going to be had. Something's going to be done. Cornerstone, talk to me.
Salute to the chat. Salute to all my brothers and sister on the to my sister and my brothers on the panel. I got to start saying your name first, Steph.
That don't matter. That's cool.
But I agree with everybody. Everybody's except for Frank Ntilikina slander.
It's not slander if it's true. I'm sorry.
But no, I had a bad feeling at halftime, and then in like the first few minutes of the third quarter, when Steph went, scored like 8 consecutive points and everything. I was like, oh, this is not going to be a good night. I mean, yeah, we tied it up and everything, but Steph is that man, is that dude. Because then he hit his 3, put him up 3. So I just had a bad feeling. I'll say this. I was going to ask you, Sim, but forget it. I don't want your opinion on this. I would have taken out RJ. I would have taken out RJ. I would have taken out Bullock. And I probably would have taken out Knowles and left Peyton and Randle in there. And, sub those 3 out, because what they were doing was just pitiful in that to start that third quarter. So, and then I would have left. Everybody was complaining about RJ not playing in the fourth quarter. This is one of those times where he didn't deserve to, and he would have sat on the bench that fourth quarter. And when you look at RJ, he just looks like he doesn't. I'm not going to say he doesn't care, but it's like he's not showing any emotion.
He's always like that.
He's not showing that.
But even when he's scoring, he doesn't show emotion. Listen, all the guys got emotion. All the guys got something. Elfrid Payton talks to himself while he's on the floor. He curses himself out or something. I don't know.
He does.
Right?
He does.
No matter what happens.
Hey, City for Real got to explain that one. City for Real got to explain that.
Yeah, City, I know what's going on. Right, no matter what happens, he's saying something.
Yeah.
RJ gives you no expression at all. He can have 45 and he's probably not going to give you any expression. That's just how he is. He doesn't give you any expression.
He'll put a snarl in there. And
Kev, I tell you what, Bobby Portis gave us some expression last year with the eyes and everything like that, and look where that got us.
Right. Yeah. And listen. The only expression that I see RJ do is roll his eyes when a call goes against him.
Right,
he does this like a like a thing, like what? That's all that I ever see him do. So even when he's scoring, he doesn't really have a lot of expression. Yeah. So I think he cares.
And icing on the cake was these officials. These officials were atrocious tonight. It was atrocious tonight. I mean,
it was.
No question. I mean, the foul that should have been called when Gibson was going for the ball and he was pushed out and they didn't call him nothing.
Oubre pushed him down.
I don't know if it was.
I don't know what Oubre. It wasn't Oubre.
It was somebody else. But I'm like, really, you're not going to call that? And then the one that was challenged and they won, and the one we challenged and they lose with RJ. That was ridiculous. I mean, the officiating, and then give text to Tibbs and Julius Randle. Threw Julius Randle out the game and everything.
So what happened the first time that he got the tech? What did he get a tech for?
Well, that was right after.
Right after Tibbs.
Right after Tibbs.
Yeah.
And that's you giving them points because Steph is going to take those foul shots and he does not miss at all. He does not miss at all. And I think at that point we were up. No, not up. We weren't up. They were up. They were up only, I think, like 3. And then there's a foul, and then I think we're over the limit, and then they get 2 foul shots for him. So then they're up 5, but then they hit okay. I remember what it was. Randle, I think, fouled him, and no, it was Taj Gibson. It was Taj Gibson.
No, I mean, I know the play. I just didn't know what Randle said.
Yeah,
right.
Because he was smiling. Because he was smiling over. But then you see Draymond Green tearing into the refs, and they don't call nothing on him. They don't call nothing.
I mean,
so that was
listen.
I
mean, the thing is, referees are gonna let you, if you're talking basketball and you're animated, and they'll let you say that. But if you say something, even if you're smiling and you say something derogatory, you might get attacked. So that's the thing. We just don't know what he said. Maybe he said something derogatory or not. But
so, Sim, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you two questions. Number one, have you ever been a ref before?
No, and I will not be a referee.
You will not be a referee.
I would never be a referee. Ever.
Now, have you
ever?
Okay, ever. Okay. Have you attacked referees as a coach?
Have I attacked them, like screamed and yelled? I've never been that kind of guy that does that.
Okay. All right,
what I'm saying?
cool.
I'll complain to him. I don't scream and holler and yell, but I'll complain to him. I mean, I've walked out on the floor. Not while the game is being played, but like if a foul is called, I've walked out on the floor to talk to the ref. But I try not to curse at him and all that kind of stuff because I don't want to get attacked. And cause a problem with my team. But I mean, I've had plenty of times where they told me, all right, you better watch it, coach. Because refs can be sensitive, especially on a high school level when you got parents right there on top of them screaming and hollering, yelling and stuff like that. They can be really sensitive. I would never be a referee because if you hear some of the things that they yell to refs, it's rough. You know what I'm saying? It can be really rough.
Refs have an ego complex too. They're very egotistical about it.
They can be.
You know what I mean? You can't really say anything. Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
I forget the ref that used to ref the NBA games. He was bald-headed, kind of short, and was always looking to throw everybody. I remember he threw out Tim Duncan. You remember?
Clifford.
Yeah.
Clifford.
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Refs got the power, and so they know, and they'll use it. And sometimes you can get a ref on your side. I've had plenty of time. I can remember one game when the ref called something, and I was like, what is that? Da, 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 da. He was like, I know, my fault, coach. He was like, tell your man to go to the basket, and I'm calling a foul for him. Right? So I looked down the bench. I told my guys, go. I told him, I said, go to the basket. For whatever reason, they didn't go to the basket. I screamed while they was playing, go to the basket. Finally, they went to the basket, and the ref said, call the foul. But they will do that. They will do that. I remember when I was playing, and at halftime, I went to the ref, and I guess I learned it from my coach. My coach was always like, talk to the referees. You hand them the basketball. If you got something to say, you wait till a timeout or halftime, and you go and you talk to them. Right? I can remember I went and I talked to the referee. I said, ref, he's riding me every time I go to the basket. He's got his hand right on my hip. And he told me, he said, when you decide to go all the way to the basket, I'll call a foul for you. I was like, okay. I went all the way to the basket and boop. I mean, the refs will do that for you, if you talk. I don't know about the NBA. But RJ, back to RJ, man. Not only, though, is he being inefficient offensively, inconsistent, but lately he has been getting killed defensively. He has been getting killed. He's getting cooked. Guys that can come off screens and go back door. You see Golden State likes to bunch up guys and then have guys run around a bunch of screens and somebody slip back door. You've seen it happen with Kelly Oubre a few times. You've seen it happen with James Wiseman where they bunch him up over maybe in the corner, have guys run off screens and Draymond or somebody hit him with a pass. But he's been getting cooked a lot of times defensively. And I'm starting to wonder if teams have recognized that he has problems with guys going back door and guys cutting to the basket. And so whoever he's defending, they try to set up schemes to get that guy moving a lot, right? Because RJ, he's not the fastest defender. He's not the fastest guy in the world, right? He doesn't jump as high. So he's having problems dealing with some of these guards, and it's hurting the team a little bit, in my opinion, because I don't know how many times I kept seeing Kelly Oubre go back door, get a pass, nice little dunk, cut over the middle, catch the ball, pull ups. You know what I mean? And it's frustrating me, and a lot of that is due to positioning, right? You got to understand what guys want to do and learn how to position yourself defensively. But RJ's struggling defensively right now. You know what I mean?
I gotta say,
yeah. Go ahead, Kev.
I have to say, I haven't really. I think we've cleaned up a little bit of getting beat backdoor a lot. I mean, I haven't seen like what we saw in Chicago, that first game in Chicago, where they kept backdooring us left and right and everything. I think we've cleaned that up just a little bit. But you're right about RJ. And usually you've seen RJ be a decent, defender and everything, but it's just he's being exposed a little bit as far as his man being, cutting. Because the passes that Draymond was throwing tonight, I mean, oh man, they were right on, right on point and everything. And a lot of that was whoever RJ was sticking. So
yeah. And listen, I'm sure Tom Thibodeau is going to make him sit down and watch film, and hopefully we get it together and he's able to put a stop to it. You know what I'm saying? And we're playing another team though that is, they're going to use some of the same type of schemes. We've played them once. Sacramento, they beat us. Right? Sacramento beat us, right? And I do think the Knicks have been very good at coming back the next game and being prepared and ready to beat them. So I feel like we can take them guys out, but still, I'm just a little bit nervous about the way that they play, the guards that they have, and stuff like that. I think Sacramento probably lost tonight. The last time I looked at it, looked like they were down. And yes, they lost to Brooklyn 127-118.
I just want someone to put the clamps on Halliburton. He opened his mouth too much, so he can't come to the garden doing it, man.
But still, though, although Derrick Rose played well tonight, especially in the first half, we still, struggled with the bench. Right? Now the bench.
Anybody worried about Quickly?
Well, let me say this: the bench played well in the first half. They played well in both halves. I still think we're struggling scoring with the bench, but they did play well in both halves tonight. They actually got us back in the game. They gave us the lead in the second quarter. Helped us build maybe a 5-point lead, largely behind Derrick Rose, and then in the end of the third quarter, when we started bringing subs in, we start coming back. Fourth quarter, we ended up tying it up. This is around the point, though, when Thibodeau is mixing up his lineup and trying to, have his closing unit out there, right? And we tied it up at 100, and then we come right back down and let Steph Curry get free for. Well, actually, they called a timeout. Out of the timeout, he gets free for a jump shot for a three, knocks it down. And that was it right there. They had to lead the remainder of the way. But I am still kind of nervous about the second unit. Quickly is not scoring right now. I'm not worried about Quickly. He's he's a rookie. He's going to have nights where he scores and nights where he doesn't score. That's basically it. You know what I mean? He's going to be inconsistent.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Yo, so do you think Quickly hit that rookie wall right now?
I was about to say
the one that they always talk about.
He stole
it. You know what I mean?
Yep, he stole it.
I don't think so.
I'm just asking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think that he hit the rookie wall. I do think that teams are defending his floater a little bit better. So now he's trying to figure out how to get my shot. How does he get his shot? And he's gonna have to figure out other parts of the game so that he's not just relying on that. So I think that is, he's on people's scouting reports right now. So that's, I think, is coming into play. People not letting him get to that floater. And they're not, he's not getting as many open threes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but now when he is open, he's hesitating to take the three.
Very tentative.
Very tentative, starting to take that three.
But that happens.
And I don't know if it's because if the coach is saying it. Okay, go ahead.
Well, that happens.
Tonight, I think it was the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, that happens when you play basketball, though, right? Especially when you're a young player, you start to question yourself if you miss a couple. Should I take this or should I not take it? Should I try to get a better shot? You're a young guy, you start to question yourself. As you get a little bit older and you're more comfortable, you don't question yourself anymore. You just go ahead and you do it, right? Especially if you've reached a certain level. He hasn't reached that level yet. So I think, there's going to be times where he does question himself. He's a young guy trying to figure it out.
But the thing about it, the thing that's a question to me is because before, when he would get that shot, he would just actually take it and not care, who's around him and everything. Now it's like he's like, should I take it or should I not take it? I remember, when Obi got the shot, he said, "I'm taking this," and and he took it and made it and everything. Wow. So
yeah, I mean, but we've seen some nights when Obi.
I think he experienced in the NBA too.
Yeah, we've seen some nights when Obi was tentative too. You know what I mean? I think that. With Quickly, it's just gonna, he had Kent Bazemore was playing good defense on him. He's had a lot of size, so it was hard for Quickly to get around him. And
Bazemore's underrated.
And Quickly, when you shoot the ball, you can feel. I'm gonna tell you right now, you play basketball, you get out there on the court. Once you start going, you can feel if you have good rhythm or not. And if you don't feel like you got good rhythm that night, you're going to be hesitant to pull shots. You're going to want to get a shot that you're really, really comfortable with, that you're really in your comfort zone to try to find that rhythm. And the last few games, he just hasn't had it. He'll be back. He'll have a couple a run.
I think also, but yeah, I'm sorry, man, if I get a point across. I think, what tonight would have been for Quickly? The 32-game season in college. People do not understand the rigor mortis of playing in the NBA coming off your rookie year in college. I mean, it's the travel schedule, the practices in and out.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing it quickly is like, you know what? My legs are starting to go. My legs are going.
And that's why City for real
That's his
asked the
last three
question
games.
if he hit
His last 3 games.
Yeah.
He been bricking because you know what? When you come off when you win your rookie season in the NBA and last year in college you only played 32 games in a full season.
Yeah.
Tonight was his 32nd game. So I think all of them go through this. Every rookie coming in the league probably go through this. It's so different playing in the NBA for 72 games or 82 games they playing in college, and you might play once in 4 nights as opposed to once every other night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think with Quickly, I think it really, and even RJ to a degree, these cats got to realize now, man, you got to be in shape playing in the NBA. Because, I mean, it's just nonstop, never stop. And it's like every other night you're playing. If you ain't practicing, you play the game tonight, the next morning, Tom Thibodeau got you practicing after the game you played tonight. So I think it might be catching up to Quickly in a sense. And I hope that's what it is, that his legs are just not under him right now because he's not getting lift off his jump shot. Yeah. He's not penetrating through that hole like he normally do, throwing the floater. Yeah. He's not even trying.
Right.
I think his legs are starting to catch up.
That's why I asked the question that I asked Devon. Yep. That's why I said, you know what I mean? Are we seeing him hit that rookie wall to where
he might be.
All of those things come into play? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I guess you could probably say the same thing about RJ as well because when we ended last year, how many games was it? Was it like, 40 games maybe? 30 or
60 something. 60
it was 60 something. Okay, never mind. 60. Yeah. It wasn't
I mean, those things I do think come into play, but I think that teams are queuing in on him and not letting him get to his comfort zone. I think that's part of it. You know what I mean? They don't want him to get inside and get to that floater because they know if he starts making that floater, he gets things going. He feels comfortable. He can knock down a couple of threes. And so now he's a little bit indecisive on what do I do? Where do I go? I think he'll be back and, he'll be back and he'll hit some shots and have a good stretch. And then he'll have a stretch where he's inconsistent again. That's how it goes with a young guy in the NBA. Because they do have to get used to the schedule and the travel, living out of a hotel every night and all that kind of stuff. It's not easy to get used to. So it's a big transition for him.
Unless you were John Morant.
Looking at the numbers behind the game tonight, the Knicks lost 114-106, ladies and gentlemen. 114-106. They dominated on the glass. They won the rebounding battle 67-47. All right. Golden State Warriors dominated on getting assists. They had 30. The Knicks had 22. Now, the Knicks did better than what they've been doing over the last 3 games getting assists, but still. Warriors got 30 assists. The Warriors had 9 steals, which allows them to get out in transition. The Knicks only had 4. 8 blocks by the Warriors, 5 by the Knicks. For the most part, the Knicks took care of the ball, but in the fourth quarter, they turned it over. Third and fourth quarter, they turned it over a few times. I think they had about 4 or 5 right there in the third quarter. 10 for the Golden State Warriors. The Knicks only shot 39% from the field, 45% for the Warriors. And the Knicks shot 37.9% from 3. Only 34% for the Warriors, but the Warriors shot more shots than the Knicks from the three-point line still. They only made 34%, but I think they made 13 while the Knicks made 11. Both teams around 87% from the free throw line. The Knicks dominated in points in the paint. Or not dominated, but they won the battle, points in the paint, 50-44. Golden State and the Knicks won the second chance point battle, 20-10. The Knicks also won the fast break battle, 12-7. That 3-point shooting, though, changes a lot. They made 2 more 3-point baskets than the Knicks, which gives them about a 6-point cushion there. The Knicks lost by 8. And then when you look at the free throw comparisons, check out the free throw comparison. The Knicks shot, the Golden State Warriors, they shot 24 free throws. They were 21 for 24. The Knicks were 19 for 22. Not too bad of a comparison. But, when you add that up, that's the Warriors made 2 more 3-pointers than the Knicks. That's 6 points. And they made 2 more free throws than the Knicks. That's 8 points. And the Knicks lost by 8. You can look at it right there and see where the Knicks lost the game. And check this out. The Knicks, we talked a lot. We had a great conversation before the game about shot attempts and this, that, and the third. What the Warriors like to do. Listen, we won the glass. We said we needed to win the glass so that the Warriors couldn't get out on a break. But we won the glass, and they only scored 7 fast break points. We wanted to shoot more shots because the Warriors shoot more shots than us. Well, tonight, the Warriors shot 89 shots. We shot 97. That's one of the highest shooting outputs of the season for the Knicks. Shot 97, but we only made 38 of them. And this is where I get scared. Right? We talk about the Knicks playing a faster pace. But we shot 97 shots. We only shot 39% from the field. Right? And missed shots leads to fast break opportunities for teams. Tough loss for the Knicks, man. Tough loss for the Knicks. Hopefully we can bounce back on Thursday. Let's talk about Thursday's game. I'm going to come in JD since I haven't seen him, just joining us. Let's talk about Thursday's game, JD. Or you can give us, real quick what you saw from tonight, and then let's talk about Thursday's game versus Sacramento.
Real quick about tonight, as you said, one of my keys to the game because of the pace was rebounding, and we out-rebounded the team. I think we played well enough to win. When you look at statistically, we did everything that we would need to do to beat a team like the Golden State Warriors. But to me, although we out-rebounded them, and that was key tonight, we just didn't finish at the rim. As far as I have it here, we shot 21 from 42 at the rim, and that's 50%. But I think the league average is like 64%. Between RJ Barrett and Elfrid Payton, a lot of shots were missed at the rim. So if we would have just made a few more, I feel like we would have won the game. We beat them in almost every other statistical category. And on the flip side, the Warriors made their shots. They shot 72% at the rim. So that right there, when you look at the 3-point the 3-point category between both teams, the free throw category between both teams, it was all pretty much even out. And you ask yourself, then where did we miss it here? Well, that right there is where the game was decided, was right at the rim. And what can you do? It's one of those things. This is actually, if you actually compare last game to this game is more of an indicator to the front office if they want to go ahead and make a move than last game. Last game was more about we just did not finish the game strong. But this is a game that exposed a lot of the weaknesses that's on this team, either from an individual personnel standpoint and from a team standpoint. And so we move on to the next one. There's not much you can do against Sacramento. This is another game that's going to be decided in the paint because they are one of the league leaders in scoring points in the paint. And again, as I said last show, a common theme, no Mitchell Robinson. It'll be another thing where, our big man will be key in controlling the paint. You have De'Aaron Fox on the team. He's going to be in attack mode. And, because the way Quickly's playing, it looks like Peyton is going to be one of those players that's going to get a lot of minutes. He has to find a way to just do a little bit better around the rim. If he's going to get this many minutes, he just has to find a way to just give me a little bit more. I know he had 20 points, and because of our expectations of him is so low that we may consider it as a great game for him. But at the same time, the weakness of him has to get better. And I'm not one of those Knicks fans that evaluates him so harshly just because I believe that he is in this position because of the coach. It's not his fault that he plays 37 minutes. It's not his fault when he decides to, when he finishes the game. Like, the situation he's in is based on the coaching staff. And he does play hard and he wants to do the best that he can. You can see it out there. But at the same time, it's just the weakness of the team. And he just has to find a way to get better. RJ as well. With RJ, I think it's just development. And, he has age on his side, but he also has to get better. Because where our weaknesses is a frustrating weakness. When you watch these games on TV and you're seeing easy shots being missed at the rim, as a consumer, as a viewer, it's just frustrating to watch. And so, those are my thoughts on last game and going into Sacramento.
Somebody about to say something? I thought I heard somebody's getting ready to make another comment.
Yeah. I was going to make a comment, Sam, about something in the chat. Is that okay, or should?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We just move on.
No.
It's killing me, and we've addressed this multiple times with people feeling that it's not time to upgrade the roster. We need to have this young core, and we need to let this young core grow. Listen, even if you do that, first of all, it's going to take a few years, and you're still going to have to put players around them. This building through the draft, in my opinion, is a myth. Look at Boston with Tatum and Brown. They still brought in Kyrie Irving. It didn't work out. They brought in Kemba. It didn't work out. Look at Philly with Simmons and Embiid. They still brought in Butler. They still brought in Tobias Harris. So let's stop. You have to build a team, and it's going to be a good mix of veterans and young players. Whether you have your young players and it takes 3-4 years for them to become a core and you build around them, or you bring in a core and build around them. The bottom line is you have to build a team, and it's a mix of both. So let's stop with, and also overvaluing our assets. We got 7 first-round draft picks. Even if you give up 4 of them, 2 young players, you still got 3 more number 1 picks. We got 5 young players on this team. Even if you give up 2, you still got 3 left. So one more second, Josh. So let's stop. Randle and his play has accelerated everything. He is the guy that we now has to build around and Sam, like you said, he's entering his prime, then he's going to have some years in his prime, there's going to be a decline. When you put a team together, it's going to take some years for that team to mesh. So the sooner we can get that team together so that they can grow together, the better. And yes, we're going to have to give up some assets to do it. We're not giving up the house. We're not being reckless about it. But I'm really tired of people talking about we got a core. We're under 500. We don't have a core. and that we got to wait for this core to grow up. Even if we do that, you still got to put players around them, period. So let's stop building through the draft is a myth. We need a good mix. My last point. If the Knicks wanted to do that, they would not have brought in Tibbs. If they wanted to wait 3, 4, 5 years for this core to grow and become the core that they build around, they would not have brought in Tibbs. They brought in Tibbs. That's letting you know they're not going in that direction. So let's just give it a rest. We're going to upgrade this roster, period.
I want to add something to that. I think a lot of people are afraid to go out and make a trade is because everyone thinks it's the Carmelo trade again. Everyone thinks that we're going to mortgage away this whole team and then we're going to get rid of all of our depth and just have a Carmelo on the team. You know what I mean? And the Knicks are not going to go anywhere. This time it's different. The Knicks have assets to give. They have assets to trade. They have leverage. They have cap space. It's not the same thing. Going out to make a trade for a Bradley Beal, Levine, or whoever, it's not going to leave this team cap strapped. It's way different. And you still can, you don't have to include RJ in the deal. You don't have to. You can have RJ still develop playing with those guys. To me, RJ Barrett will get better playing with someone outside of Julius Randle.
Absolutely.
He will get better playing with someone that's an all-star, that's gonna go out there and get a bucket, because that's gonna make him better. So we need again, I totally agree with Steph. Stop the myths about everything is gonna be just like Carmelo again. The Knicks are gonna get to the first round and lose, because the way this team is playing defense right now, they can beat a lot of teams out there. The only thing they're missing is offense in a bucket. And that's why I agree with Steph, and we need to go out and get someone.
And quickly to piggyback off you two guys, I think the organization has a pretty good grip on what this team is.
Right.
And I don't even know that what we do in the next couple games will mean much, because if you see the way we played tonight, we lost a certain way. The last game we won, but we played a certain way. You saw how we played against Orlando. You see our record. You see the Eastern Conference. All that together, this is what this team is. It's just under or at 500 team. And when you're that team, this is the type of games you'll see, and this is the type of games you'll continue to see. We'll find different ways to lose, and that's because we don't have the necessary talent to have an identity and win a certain way. We're trying to win a certain way, but then when we're facing teams that have firepower, our margin of error is so small.
Right.
And so the other thing, to Stephanie's point, is, like I said, tonight was a celebration of Julius Randle's all-star accolade. Don't tell me that tonight he's not feeling better about himself and he's now not thinking, I want to win. So he knows now the Knicks are going to pick up his option. You're talking about a guy that made an all-star bid over Sabonis, over Tobias Harris, over
Trae Young,
Bam, over Trae Young. Like, I don't know who in this panel didn't think that because we're the Knicks, some BS was going to happen tonight, and somehow he wasn't going to be snubbed. They were going to go with Bam because of the Miami Heat, hype with the All-Star run. So, but he made it. And that is going to mean a lot. It's going to mean a lot to him. It's going to mean a lot to his agent. It's going to mean a lot to the way he's going to start to think moving forward. His mindset is slowly going to start to change into a player that says, I want to win. So you guys gave me the opportunity, but at the same time, you guys have to show me that you guys want to win. And next year, we have to present a case to him. So the organization, I think, is just right now they're evaluating what to do. I don't know that they know, just because I think they're on the fence as well. And that's why I wouldn't want to be in that front office making this decision. So, but let's see what happens.
What do you think they're on the fence about?
I think they're on the fence about giving up the assets that it's going to take to get one of these players, whether it's even by the trade deadline or in the offseason. Because I think they understand that everyone is it feels so good about the fact that we have this draft capital surplus and that we're in this such great position. I think they're trying to figure out, if we're going to do this, who is the player that we're going to do it for? Because once you make the move, you're not getting those picks back.
Right.
And you have to live with it. So I think they're trying to figure out who are the pieces of this team that are going to be here, and if they're going to build about Randle. If the decision is Randle is a piece, then you're gonna have to start making moves to pair somebody up with him.
Right.
Because then why have him then? Why have him? If we're gonna build for 3-4 years, you think he's gonna be okay with that next year when it's time to talk extension? I don't know.
And things change quickly in this league too.
Yeah, right. They change very quickly. Let me get you a phone
Look
call.
at the
Call
Nets, Phoenix.
Caller, you live, but you got to turn that down in the back, man.
My fault, Knicks family. Stephanie, it's me, Craig Mack, man. Wait, first of all, how you doing, Knicks family?
We good, bro. We good.
Salute.
All right, so the only thing that I'm afraid of with Knicks fans, we've sucked for so long. It's like we try to get the quick fix to try to fix the team. Randle, he's having an all-star year, but to me, Randle's not even a top 15, 20 player. Even if
he's an all-star game.
Team him up with Bill. Even if you team him up with Bill, you still got to go through Brooklyn, still got to go through the Bucks, still got to go through Philly. I don't think that with that we're strong enough to get through those teams. So I think
what should we do?
Has basically played a full season. I'm afraid of giving away RJ and he turns into something special. If you look at RJ stats and you compare him to Jaylen Brown and Tatum, he has better stats at this time in the second year than both of those guys. So we don't know what we have, but why would we trade these guys? Just my take on things. What do you guys think?
I mean, I guess my question would be, what's our confidence in the Knicks front office ability to draft talent in the middle of the rounds? Because if somebody was to give me a magic wand and tell me we're going to have top 5 picks for the next 2-3 years, then I'll say yes. But the way things are going, for example, this year, we may have middle round draft picks. And so what happens if we do draft and these guys don't hit? Either way, it's a tough decision. So on one end, I see one side, I see both sides. I'm on the fence, but at the very least, if they're going to get a player, please let it just be someone like a Zach LaVine who's young, like someone that's young. Don't do it for a guy that's in the 30, 31 years old. Do it for someone that's young.
Of course.
Because teams have done that in the past.
Of course.
Right. Now that's reckless.
Of course.
Yeah. Who said that we have to get away RJ Barrett? Who said that we have to trade RJ? No one's talking about trading RJ.
Right.
I mean, any team that's smart enough.
Everybody is in the future
package.
Hold on. Go ahead. Let them finish. Go ahead. Say what you say.
No, I said any team that's smart enough, they're gonna want one of your young assets, which is RJ, not Frank,
but
not
it could be
that's not getting
it could be quickly
time on the court.
But
it could be quickly. It could be
Obi.
Doesn't have to be RJ. It could be quickly. It could be Obi.
It could be Mitch.
It could be Mitch.
Yeah, it depends on who you're going after. You might, you also got to look at who you're going after. Yeah, Levine or Bradley Beal may cost you that, but we know that the Knicks is not going to beat the Nets this year or next year, maybe if they got a team. That's the reason why I brought up the Oladipo thing. You might can get him for a couple of seconds and a couple of players. You know what? And he won't come in here. He won't come in here trying to say it's my team. He knows it's Randle's team. You know what I mean? You got to be careful who you bring in here because now you might say, who team is it? But I think if you were to get somebody like Oladipo for a couple of players and a couple of second rounders, he know if he come in here and put him in bullet spot, he know this is not his team. He won't have no ego trip. You know what I mean? This is Julius Randle's team. If we just want to get to the playoff and build from there, we don't need to go out and make a move when we know we're not going to beat the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't think that's going to happen. But we can make a wise move. But if you can get a Levine and a Bill, you go get them. I don't know what these Knicks fans talking about because that's what it's about. We need
one last thing.
You know what I mean, we need talent.
One last thing. We. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I didn't know the caller was on. Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Knicks fans, we've been hurting for the last couple of. Let's be honest. We suck. Now that we got a little taste of happiness, let's not go get drunk off of it and go overboard. It takes time to grow.
Why are we getting drunk because you want to upgrade the roster, though?
But listen, my thing is this.
That's
because
not being drunk.
I keep hearing people say, oh, wow, we get into the 8th seed and we lose to Brooklyn, or we lose to Milwaukee, or we lose to Philadelphia. That's how you build. That's how you start. You get into the 8th seed and you lose. You say, okay, what do we got to do to get better so that we don't lose in the 8th seed? Or we get past the 8th seed and we're the 5th seed or the 4th seed. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it by, you can't do it by constantly relying on rookies and young guys because they're not going to get you to and past the 8th seed. Right. It's not going to happen.
People want to stay in the lab. People want to stay in the lab and incubate these young players and then think you're going to just bust out and move right to the second round. Right to the second seed. It's not going to happen. There's levels to it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
you run the risk of losing Randle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we got young players, and you say Randle's not a top 20 player. He's a top 24 player. You can guarantee that, right? You know that. At least right now this season, he's a top 24 player, and you don't know where he might go the following season. You didn't have him as an all-star this year, so he obviously jumped from maybe not in the top 100 in most people's mind to at least a top 24. You don't know where he might go, and he might stay where he's at. You know what I mean? But you gotta try to. You're building something. You gotta try to continue to build. I know you say I wanna build with these guys. I wanna have these guys grow, right? But you're not saying we're not saying you got to give up all of your players. You know what I'm saying? You make strategic moves so you can put some guys in place. And you're not talking about old players. Randle is 26 years old. If you're talking about getting another one of these guys that's probably 24, 25, 26 years old, you talk about players that still got 11, 12, 13 years to go in the league.
Right.
One thing before I go.
Yeah.
I just want to say, shout out to Stephanie for holding it down for the females, for the Knicks fans.
No doubt.
And
appreciate you.
Prince, please stop the Zach LaVine talk. And you guys, good night.
Right. Peace, man.
Craig.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I know people are afraid and they don't want, they don't want to, whatever you want to call it. They don't want to have get stuck in purgatory, as a lot of people say. But I don't think we're in that situation where you get stuck in purgatory. You know what I mean? Especially if you trade for the right player that has the right contract, you still have that flexibility to make moves when it's time to make moves. This front office seems to be very smart and doing good things. So I'm not worried about, that they're going to make some big, crazy, huge mistake when it comes time to make a move. I think that they'll make a good, smart move. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm hoping that they, I guess we'll see when it comes down to the trade deadline what happens. And if they stick with this squad right here for the rest of the season, then we rock out with this squad for the rest of the season.
Then we rock with this.
Then I can guarantee you, though, they're going to look and try to make a move when it comes to the offseason, right? Because they want to make the right move, not just any move.
Yeah, I think that's when the move is going to come in the offseason.
And you see teams around the league like Miami Heat they're always scheming to try to make a move, right? And if you have a coach like Tibbs, kind of like Spo in Miami, where you have a coach that you believe in, and you have a coach that you think you bring a player here, and they'll be serviceable defensively just because of his scheme, and you believe in the coach. This is a type of coach around the league that you would make moves for. And even if your team may be a little bit off after a move, the coach is a big component to all of this. He's a big piece of the puzzle. And so that's why I believe the coach that's here now, he's a big part of why the front office is going to look to get aggressive, whether it's by the trade deadline or in the off season.
Yeah.
People are so I'm sorry, Sam. People are so They don't want to trade away first round picks, but now we're happy that we traded away Porzingis, right? You see how that dynamic changed just that quick? It's crazy.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. I want to hear from Tom Thibodeau real quick. Him talking about the game tonight. So let's listen to Tom Thibodeau, and then we'll start talking about the Sacramento game. This is Tom Thibodeau, folks.
Coach, Steph Curry accounted for 65% of the Warriors' offense there in the fourth quarter. How difficult is it to play catch up against this team when he impacts winning the way that he does?
Yeah, I think he's, the shooting sets up, a lot of their offense. And so, and Draymond is terrific in terms of making decisions. So it stretches you out pretty good. And then, he's a great shot maker. Doesn't take him much room to get a shot off, and he never stops moving.
Mark Berman, your post.
Hey, Tom, in the second half of the last 3 games, obviously you guys haven't played well. Is there some trend there that you don't like? What's going on?
Again, we've got to be, a 48-minute team. And I think sometimes if you lose your focus or your edge at all, and that's the challenge when you're on an extended homestand like we are, we have to make sure that we maintain our focus, our concentration, and we have to be ready. I thought the way we started the game, it's hard when you give a team that is that good and that offensive minded a lot of confidence early. It's hard to get them turned off once they get going. And so we have to take a look at that. And then I thought there were stretches. The bench, I thought, played really well in the first half and actually played very well at the start of the fourth also. And then when it was 97-97, a couple breakdowns hurt us.
Brian Mahoney, AP.
You guys were pretty frustrated at the end of the game. Like you were talking to the referees a lot, and obviously Julius got kicked out. Was it just the way you guys were not getting calls, or was it just disappointment and kind of not finishing that had everyone so frustrated?
Again, I don't want to put it on the officials. Sometimes you get calls, sometimes you don't. It just seemed like there was a lot of contact on our drives and we didn't get the calls. So we have to deal with that. Yeah.
Steve Popper, Newsday.
Tom, you've done pretty well with the challenges this year. What did you think on that one with the Oubre foul? You feel that was right?
Well, and again, I want to look at it again. When what I saw on the replay, I felt that, I didn't think there was a foul, but obviously they felt differently. And that was sort of, my vantage point. I felt like if that was a foul, there were several others that were fouls as well that weren't called. So it can't be, one way. And that's what you're looking for. You're just looking for consistency.
Steph Bondy, Daily News.
Hey, Tom, obviously Julius has been pretty consistent offensively and your number one guy, but how important is it to get a consistent number 2 or consistent help around him? Because it seems like there's a lot of inconsistency elsewhere.
Yeah, and again, I'm looking at, the growth of the team. I didn't, obviously we didn't play well tonight. I thought they played really well. I thought they got guys back that have been out. They're coming off a 2-day layoff, so I knew it would be a high energy game for them. And we have to match that intensity. I thought the second quarter, we played really well. I thought to start the third, we didn't match the intensity of the game, and that can't happen.
Mike Morganoff, The Athletic.
Hey, Tom, I'm sure you're happy for Julius, on a personal level, getting the All-Star nod there. What does it mean for you guys as a team, as an organization, to have an All-Star player in your first year, together with you and Leon and the new administration?
Well, I think it's great for the organization, obviously great for Julius. I think the fact that he's helped the team win helped him to get recognized. So I think his teammates, I know, are very happy, and they share in that success with him. And all the things that he's done for the team, being unselfish, being a great worker, the way he practices, I think is important for our team, and just the way he brings it, every night. So I think it's important for him, important for the organization, but we can't lose sight of what the most important thing is, and that's the team winning.
Last question, Mark Berman, you're close.
Hey, Tom, how'd you like the energy in the building tonight?
Yeah, it was great. I know it's 2,000 fans or whatever it is, but it's just, it's great to have them back, and we certainly appreciate their support.
All right. The one thing I noticed there, though, is that he was very nifty in avoiding talking about adding another scorer, right? He just went into talking about how the team didn't play well and blah, 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 but didn't want to get into adding another scorer, which he should do, right? Because if he comes out and says, yeah, we need to go out and get another scorer, then now he's knocking everybody that's on his team, and your players got to have the trust of the coach. So, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You can voice that to Leon Rose or whoever else it is, but you don't do it to the media so that all of the players could hear like, oh man, Tom doesn't believe in us. Coach Tibbs don't believe in us. But now we face Sacramento, and we played Sacramento once. We lost to Sacramento in Sacramento, and it's a matchup that I don't like. We got to deal with De'Aaron Fox. He's a tough cover, naturally, right? And, while Elfrid Payton does a good job dealing with some of these guys, it's another tough guy that you got to deal with. I just, just not a fan of the matchup. The last time we played them, we lost to them 103-94. The Knicks did not play well. Julius Randle did what did his normal thing. He had 26 points and 15 rebounds. RJ Barrett had 21 points and 7 rebounds that game. Mitchell Robinson played well, 12 points, 10 rebounds. Elfrid Payton did not play well. Reggie Bullock did not play well. We got basically nothing from our bench. While for Sacramento, they had well-balanced scoring. De'Aaron Fox had 22. Tyrese Halliburton had 16. Harrison Barnes had 21. Marvin Bagley had 10. Rashawn Holmes had 10. Buddy Hield had 11. Right? They played a well-balanced game the last time that we played them. Now, since then, I don't know what their record, I don't know what their injuries look like and all that kind of stuff. I do know that they've lost 8 in a row. So they're going to be desperate coming in looking for a win. And they're going to feel like we beat this team once, we can beat them again. And the Knicks got to have that feeling in their heart that we lost to them once, we're not going to lose to them again. But I don't like playing the Kings. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like playing this team. Steph, how do you feel about this game coming up?
Sam, it's hard to call. It's the same. Do we hit our shots? Do we defend the 3-point line? Is RJ going to give us something? Is the second team going to give us something? To me, it's really about us and how we're going to play. How we're going to play tomorrow. Fox is he's really quick, but I like Elf. I like what he does defensively. I'm not saying that he can't get cooked, but I'm okay with the way he's playing. It's just, to me, it's a toss-up game.
Okay, Divine, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I second that because even the game we lost to him on that West Coast trip, after I think we had beat Golden State the night before we played them, or the day after that, whatever the case may be. But like I said, they only scored 103 on us, and I like our chances. I think Elfrid Payton, much as quick as De'Aaron Fox is, he's not a Steph Curry from the 3-point line. You know what I mean? And so I give Elfrid a chance there because, all you got to do is at least slow him down. And, but like I said, he's not Steph Curry. And so I'm not too much worried about that. But, we just got to just go play our game, man. Like tonight, man, we just, like I said, it wasn't that we played bad, just that we had 3 players who we depend on didn't come through for us. I don't really know what to say other than that for the game tonight, and that's why I think if RJ can bounce back, and if Bullock can give us something on Thursday, and if Quickly can give us something, then our chances look good. But if they don't give us nothing, then we don't have a good chance, So yeah. I just think that we just them players just need to You know, and I think like, for people in the chat, nobody's beating RJ down. I'm quickly RJ and Reggie Bullock just get it from me for tonight. Because RJ was plus 20 the other night. Tonight he was a minus 20. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something like that, I guess. I'm assuming once you look at his numbers. So it's a give and take. You know, we praise them against the Minnesota Timberwolves, so we got the right to get on them tonight because the brother didn't do well. You know what I mean? So I think hopefully Thursday he bounced back. Man, I hope he bounced back. I hope Bullock give us some offense, at least a little bit, and quickly maybe can bounce back. But it's tough, man. It's the NBA, man. It's a grind, and things happen. But I'm confident I know we could beat them. Like Stephanie said, I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned about us. You know what I mean? It's what we do. I don't really care what other team does. What we do. And if everybody contributing and playing our defense, I think we could beat just about any team on any given night. So let's just hope that we come to the table and maybe one of the two of them three players that didn't play well tonight play well Thursday night, and we might be able to eke out a victory.
Okay. All right. Big shout out to NYK31. He said, guys, you are lying. I think this was a good loss, even though we didn't shoot the ball well. We played well. I mean, we played okay. I mean, Tom Thibodeau doesn't think we played well. You just heard him say we didn't play well tonight. You just heard him. We played okay. We could have played a lot better, I think. Defensively, I think we could have played a lot better because there were a lot of stuff, some backdoor cuts and some things that I just don't like to see. We knew it was coming playing against Golden State Warriors. We knew it was coming. Prince?
Like I said, man, when we play De'Aaron Fox, it's a different type of ball game. Keeping him out of the paint, that's gonna be a task. But again, I think if we stick to our defenses and, like you said, we get to the mentality that the only person who's going to beat us is De'Aaron Fox, hopefully we can stifle that team. I mean, because the only thing that kept them in the game was Bagley and who else helped him? I mean, Hill dropped a couple points. So again, if we can keep Bagley down and Elford can slow down Fox, we should get this W. But again, it's not a guaranteed win. We definitely need this win because again, you don't want to go into the mid break because again, I said we could be 5-0. And you don't want to go into the break 0-5. And again, losing the game to Sacramento could spiral us into a bad, maybe a bad losing streak, and that wouldn't look good.
Yeah, true. We definitely need to get it against these guys. It's a winnable game. It's a tough game, I think. Even though they've lost their last 8 games, it's a tough game, but it's winnable. We just got, we got to slow down. We got to slow down. There's so many guys scoring, It's going to be hard to beat a team when they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in double digits and then one player, one bucket away from being in double digits. Marvin Bagley and Rashawn Holmes, they were dominant on the glass, 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 rebounds respectively. I mean, we were just about even in a rebound battle. But, of course, we're missing Mitch right now. And big shout out to 23 Blade. He pointed out that we miss Mitch sorely and that New Orleans Noel, he needs hands. And it gets him very livid. We talked about that in the game preview that New Orleans Noel needs hands. But he did a little bit better today. I think he did a little bit better catching the ball. Had some alley-oops and, there was still some times out there, but I think he did a little bit better. JD, what's your take on Sacramento, the game versus Sacramento?
I'm honestly not too concerned about Fox just because his strengths, I feel like, with Peyton and our defense. Although when I think about it, with Mitch being out, they are top 5, top 6 in the league in free throw attempts. So that could be a recipe for, them living at the free throw line and attacking the paint. But he's a career 18 points per game player against the Knicks in 6 career games. He shot 43% in his career against the Knicks. So it's not like a Stephen Curry situation for me. I view this like the Minnesota Timberwolves game. This is a game that we should win. I mean, it concerns me that you're worried about the Kings and they've lost 8 in a row. So How is that going to look if we lose this game?
Because to me, sometimes things are about matchups and the way that you match up against the team. Whether or not they have a good record or they've won so many in a row, it's about matchups. And I just don't think De'Aaron Fox is really, really fast. Steph Curry's a little bit more. He's not going to just blow past you, right? He's going to go off of screens and run off of screens and stuff like that. De'Aaron Fox is going to blow past you, and then he gets inside of the lane and he can knock down that mid-range jump shot. He's smooth. You're playing two tough guards back to back. With Elfrid Payton, I feel like guards that just take one dribble and blow past you, I feel like he has a little bit tougher time with those guys. With De'Aaron Fox, I think, we seen last game he came out and he started lighting it up. Now they did get it back in, but they're young and bouncy. Marvin Bagley's young. Rashawn Holmes, he's young. They got a young Tyrese Halliburton. They got some guys that can knock down a three every once in a while. I just get nervous about these guys. I feel like they're young and bouncy, and we might have some trouble with them.
I hate being in this position, Sam, because like you said, that is, I agree with that. They're 12th in the league in scoring offense. They're in the middle of the pack in 3-point percentage and 3-point attempts. So they're right there in the middle of all these offensive categories, and that's an indicator to what the season's been going on, where they've been very up and down. But I just hate being in this position because the team has lost 8 in a row, and many of us could just look at this game like an easy game. But again, the ebbs and flows on the NBA, at some point they're going to get a win, and I just hope it's not us. And if we're going to be a playoff team, we cannot lose this game.
You're right.
Game. That's just how I'm looking.
Must win.
You're right.
Sam, can I say something too? Look, so check this out, right? Didn't they say in the second quarter, I think it was second quarter, I can't remember if it was the first quarter or second quarter, but they were saying how Kent Bazemore only averaged 6 points or whatever. But like, you know what I'm saying? In between, I can't remember what it was, but in between the first or the second quarter, he already had like 9 points. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but has he not killed us time and time and time
he
again?
Does. He
like,
does.
You know what I'm saying?
He does.
Like,
he does.
And I remember it, obviously, of course, because, we Knicks all day. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember he has killed us time and time and time again. So if this guy is only averaging 6 points a game, why are we not sending people at him saying, yo, listen.
Well, I think it's because
killed us.
I think it's because he's only averaging 6 points a game. So it's like, if we're gonna leave anybody open, leave him open, right? Then he starts killing you. Let me get to Josh. Josh, what's your take on a quick take on this game, and then what you're thinking about over the next 3 games, right? Can we sweep all 3 of these next 3 games and go up 1, or what?
I think it's possible, but again, I'm just going to go back to the Knicks' bread and butter, and their bread and butter is defense. When the Knicks play well defensively, they got a 90% chance of winning that game. It all starts on the defensive end. The reason why Thibodeau says what he says, about how he wasn't happy and the team didn't play well, is because defensively the team didn't play well. That's really what it comes down to. The Knicks can be able to hold, Sacramento, under, whatever, I don't know what they're averaging right now as far as points per game. But if they can hold them to, the Knicks are holding teams to 102 still. If the Knicks can hold them down to that, I think the Knicks win the game. But, if not, then the Knicks are not going to be able to outshoot anybody. That's not what the Knicks do. They play defense, and that's where it starts. So depending on how the Knicks play, just like Devon said, it's totally up to us. If we come out hustling on defense and getting to every loose ball, we win. If we don't, we lose.
Yeah, they average 114 points per game. They gave up 120.
God.
So, yeah. They gave up. Right.
But the bad thing is we don't got the offense to even score. That's what's crazy.
That's what scares you. That's what scares you. They give up 120, but are we gonna score? We're probably not gonna score 120.
Oh man.
Right. So we keep them to say a couple points below their average. Say we keep them to 104. We might only score 104. Still, even though they're dropping 100, they're giving up 120. That's the crazy thing. And they also average 26 assists per game. That's the thing. Tony, can we get the next 3, man?
I'm scared, man. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm usually optimistic. I feel like if we would have took this game and it was a winnable game, I feel like we could have had the momentum. But the way I'm looking at it right now, I mean, Bagley was putting in work last game, and talking to Randle. Now Randle's an all-star. So, he's going to have some extra confidence. I'm talking about Bagley. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me see if I could do what I did last time again. You got Sabonis, who was snubbed.
Right.
He going to want to put in that work. What I'm going to say is this is kind of like what JD said. This is going to be a true testament to whether we are a playoff team or not. Yeah. Not saying this is the end all be all, but this is like an important stretch. These last 3 games, we could potentially go a game over 500 going into the break, and if not, we could be stuck where we are. I want to try to get over this hump now, and start that second half fresh or with a game advantage.
Right.
But it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be a testament. We're gonna need a total team effort. We're gonna need guys to step up. No bad games. But no bad games from RJ. Rosen's gonna have to dropping the shot or make it. Finishing at the basket. Peyton's been pretty good at finishing at the basket. Not this game, but the past couple games he has. So continue that trend, and we could be all right. I think all the games are winnable, but I think the other teams are gonna have some extra, extra chip on their shoulder, trying to prove things wrong. And Julius is gonna have to know that he got a target.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Tomorrow, I am going to do a shoot around, but it's going to be later in the day, later in the evening, because I got a bunch of meetings tomorrow morning. All right, so just look for the notification, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys. Congratulations to Julius Randle. Too bad we couldn't finish the night off with that win, but it's okay. We got more games coming. We can get back to it, man. I'm out of here. Thank you, guys. Be blessed. Take it easy tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, spread love as normal. Please do so. All right? We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen.